Now we're going to set up a Zillow search. So go to Zillow. We're at Zillow. And we got to go to buy. Let's say we're going to buy. I want to remove this boundary. So I want to show you how to do that. So when you get somewhere that you're looking for, so we were going for Floyd, Virginia, which is right in here. So when you get to Floyd, Virginia, you go right up here in the right corner to the draw, and you hit draw. And then you come back over here, and let's say we're going to go from Czech, Virginia, down Indian Valley, Meadows of Dan. That's going to show us what's for sale in here, so then you apply that. And then it'll just come up with these properties. So we're going to scoot this over just a little bit. So it's right in the middle there. And then we're going to go to for sale. Now for sale, everything is for sale. We're not looking for rent. We're not looking at what's sold. Price, this is where you can set your price. Let's set a max price of, let's go to 400 grand. And then you apply. Okay, so you got your price up to 400 grand, bed and bath, doesn't matter. We're doing land. Home type. We don't want houses or townhomes or multifamilies or condos. We just want land. And you go to apply again. And then more, you can go over here. Now, owner posted, agent listed. You want to keep all that stuff coming soon. I don't need the rest of that. Square foot, that's the house. We're not doing that, but we are interested in lot size. We want a minimum of, let's say, 2 acres. And we want a maximum of, let's say, no maximum. And then we're going to apply, because we're only at 400 grand. I can't. You might get 100 acres for 400 grand, but you might not. And then you apply again. So everything's been applied to here. This is just land. This is what's available, land in this area. So if we start looking here, homes for you, I like to switch that over to newest. And you go to newest. So right here we've got 29 acres for $189,000. You got 49,000 for 9 acres. We got 349,000 for 16 acres. Now that looks like that has some buildings on it. So I'm not sure that one, let's look at it. I would say that has some buildings on it. So when you look at this, it's supposed to be just for land, but property features 10 acres of fenced pasture. It's 16.8 acres, great mini farm, hobby farm. Buildings, several buildings on the property. They're in good condition. These buildings include a 2-car garage with cement floor, so things are getting better. Small creek, 0.15 acre spring-fed pond. So that means the water is coming up out of the ground and feeding into your pond. Another spring that serves as the water source for the mobile home on the property, TLC. But anyways, this is what we're looking at. Then you can go to here, and this will show you, go to satellite, so you can look around it. You want to see what's around it. There's certain things you're going to be looking for, and certain things you don't want to look for. Right now we're going to talk about what you don't want to look for. And that is giant chicken houses or extremely large power lines that might run over the top of it. And I did see a power line somewhere out here. I'll see if I can zoom in and see it. I love power. It's great to have. But sometimes having those extremely large lines on top of your house, a lot of people don't want that. So power lines, flooding. So you can go here to the flood zone. I'm not going to do that right now because it's hard for me to get out of it. But you got train tracks. You know, sometimes you'll get a train track that comes over and, you know, you can't see it. It just comes by the house and you don't realize it till one day the train comes. You got landfills and you got easements. So let's say I'm like an easement here. This one here looks like this road comes straight through here to this property. So you're probably going to be going through someone's property to get to this property. Now, when you get to this property, I don't see any easements going out of it. I don't like to even really go through someone else's property. Now, there's a possibility that's a road. There's a possibility it's an easement. And then the guy might plant some really big trees next to it. Every time you drag your toy hauler through there or something, or a large trailer, you're going to scrape the roof off of it. So easements, try not to get where you got to go through someone else's property, and try not to get where you've got to go through, somebody going through your piece of property. Because, I mean, they could come through there on quads, side-by-sides, 50 miles an hour, then you're going to ask them to slow down. They're going to tell you, Anyways, it's your first enemy right there. Is some dumbass who likes to speed up and down your road. So anyways, you got easements that are running through your land. Perk test. Now this obviously I think already has a septic and stuff on it, but on bare land you're going to be looking at perk test. Well depths, you can find well depths through the county. Like let's say if I'm in Grayson County, you can go to Grayson County and you can find, maybe not at the county, but at the I'll have to do some research on that to make sure. But you can find out what well depths are in the area. Now, that doesn't mean if somebody's got a 100-foot well next to your property that yours is going to be 100 foot deep. Yours might be 40 foot deep. Yours might be 600 feet deep. But it kind of states that there is some water in the area. If you go and you look and everybody's got a 600-foot well around the area, you might avoid that. And then a survey, so you know where your property lines are. When you go to buy property, you've got about 10 days, 7 days or something like that to figure out. You can ask for a couple more if you want, but just don't make it a pain in the rear. Somebody might end up buying the property right out from underneath you, because he's easier to deal with. So I would ask for maybe 5 to 7 days, and I would get a perk test done. I would find out if the property will perk for a conventional flow septic with no pumps, no electric needed to it, just a gravity flow septic. And I'll try to do a video on the septic that you want versus what you don't want. And I guess that pretty much takes care of it for now. But just kind of, you can look. I'll tell you this too, though. You can look at flood. This is going to be a flood zone. So actually, this thing is in kind of a flood zone. This isn't. This house isn't. But there's something down there. They said something about a creek. That might be the creek that flows across the property. It's a 1 out of 10. It's a minimal. So, then you got fire, wind, 2 out of 10. It's another thing you want to look for is wind. This area is not real windy, but when you're looking somewhere, look at the wind. If you go there and you see every tree's bent over, you're going to want to not live there. You can go to Street View, kind of shows you, what the street up to it looks like. Looks like there's some really nice houses. Nice paved road. I don't know exactly where that road comes off at to go onto this property. Could be here. Not sure. So Street View helps you. So you can do a lot of stuff on here. Can really, you used to have to, in the old days, you'd have to get in the car and drive somewhere and get a realtor and drive to a piece of property, and it was a major undertaking, especially if your property, let's say if you're in Arizona like I was, and, you're 2,100 miles from here, it's a long ways to drive and look at a piece of property. So this has made it very, very much easier. We went back to the search. Now let's go back to the search. So here we are. We're searching again. That was at 349, 18 acres. This is the little thing over here. That's the flood zone. That's the little creek or something that runs in front of it. So got a couple here in Willis. Willis is beautiful. 20 acres, 186. You got 48 grand for 19 acres. Now that's a good price, but that usually states that it's off somewhere. Like, you like 4-wheeling to get home, might be the perfect property for you. Has road frontage on Shortcut Drive, making for easy access, wooded, recreational use, hunting. And it doesn't sound too bad. It's been on 29 days, got 477 views. That's a lot of views for 29 days, so other people are looking at it. 65 people have saved it. Don't let that scare you, because I've had property that we've bought that had 100 saves on it. And we ended up getting it. You think 65 saves, somebody's already made an offer. Well, it's still on as of now, 29 days, so somebody apparently has not made an offer. Now I see this auction thing here. I don't believe this is an auction. I believe it is for sale. So you've got this one here. Let's go down here and see if this is a paved road. Go to satellite. And that is not a paved road. It doesn't look paved to me. I'm pretty good at picking out a paved road. Now see, probably what's happened here, somebody's came in and logged, and they came in and logged here, which isn't the end of the world, because if you have 100,000 trees on your property, the wind's always blowing them over, and you're always cutting them down, and it's a lot of maintenance. I lost a lot of good trees the last hurricane that came through our area, and I'm in Grayson County, Virginia, around Galax, in that area. So that does not look like a paved road. So how far is it out to a paved road? I'm still not seeing a paved road. What's this here? No, that just looks like gravel too. Let's go out more. It's back in here. It's this road. See, there's a paved road. But you're over here, so you're going to have to come off of this road somewhere to get over here. So you probably got, I don't know, 3 miles of dirt road. So just things to look out for. Back to search. Acres, 26. I'm sorry, 80,000 for 26 acres. Get me wrong. 289,000 for 25 acres with a beautiful little pond on it there. 64 for 2.6 acres. And the reason this is expensive for 2.6 acres is it's a flat piece of land. Very buildable. Looks quite beautiful. Got a few Christmas trees growing there. No trailers, no mobile homes, no single, double wides, no temporary structure, RV, trailer, camper, no commercial shooting ranges. A lot of no's, no unlicensed vehicles, no commercial stable zones. So this might not be right for you. Minimum of 1,500 square foot home. So, you know, I built 650 square foot. So it's a brand new, good looking home, but I wouldn't be allowed to live there. So there's certain things you got to watch out for. This is Autumn Ridge, Willis. So we got a little mobile home here in Floyd. And probably the reason this is under land, this might be hard to get financing on. People don't like to finance an old single wide mobile home, so you're probably going to be looking at cash. You might be able to get an owner carry, but that's few and far between. Nobody likes to make the payments, so it's hard to finance anything. Although we've done fine on some properties that we bought, couldn't sell outright, so ended up financing them. And one guy on the $85,000 lot we had in a place called Alpine, Arizona, he paid his payment. It was like $1,000 a month. He paid it, and then one day he sent us a check for the rest of the balance on it. So this is a beautiful piece here. This, you know, kind of view like that. And start looking at this one here. 10 photos. Let's click on this one. See that? That's beautiful there. It's kind of what everybody wants. It's more expensive because that's what everybody wants. And houses out here, you know, you look at a piece of land with a house on it. Some of these houses were built in the 1800s. I've seen some that were built in the 1700s. So looks fun on those cable shows when they're fixing up an old farmhouse, but it ain't that fun when you get right down to it. And you can buy the land and keep the old farmhouse there just for nostalgic and build something else. But back to search. This one's obviously been logged here, which is good and bad. I mean, you got a clear spot to put a house. Is it full of stumps? maybe. It's another thing, you get land just stumped out, they call it, where it's just stumps everywhere, and backhoe guy got to come, or excavator, and dig all those out, and they ain't easy to get out. So normally when guys log it, they'll leave them there for you. So I guess that's just some information on how to get a good Zillow search set up. Kind of what you're looking at, how much things are going to be. But it's raining today. I got some stuff to do, so I'm going to cut this one off now. If you want to subscribe and get more information, I'm going to have a few more of these videos. We'll probably drive out and check out a couple pieces of property in the area. But that's what you're looking at. Happy hunting.